Wow. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. Messed my introduction up. I just got finished drinking a slushie, and I realized that my lips and a little bit more redder than normal. My bad. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stanley Doucette, and we are starting Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I appreciate you guys logging in today, as you guys can see in this live, baby. You no telling what may come my mouth. Listen, I appreciate y'all wherever you calling in from. Whether you calling in from the east, the north, the south, you calling in from Antarctica, listening in from Antarctica. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. Who would have known your boy, Stanley, would have been doing a podcast and touching people all across the country, all over the world? Today, I'm going to stay into my man topics today with another one that I think is going to be powerful. If you guys are serious about this and really taking some notes and really listening to some of the things and the research that we've been able to do and to share with you guys, I really appreciate and I really hope that this help you out overall in every single thing that you do in your life. I want to shout out every single male and every single female, everybody. I want to shout you guys out. One of the things I've been thinking about, and there's a lot of, in a matter of fact, there's a lot of stuff I've been thinking about. But today, I really want to talk about a subject that I think a lot of people don't really understand. And I don't even think males understand that. But it's very, very simple. Why men don't talk? Why they don't express themselves? What's that all about? Where did that come from? Why is it that men, your boy, your girl, y'all, a lot of women always saying, yeah, y'all just don't talk. Y'all this, y'all that. But what is it? Where is all of that coming from? Why is it that men don't talk? Why they don't express themselves? What's going on, and what is that? So today, on today's topic, if you got pen and paper to take some notes with, this is not just for the women. This is for the men. I'm just messing my hair up. I know y'all look at the YouTube. Y'all gonna look at me. Y'all gonna say like, this dude crazy. Anyway, y'all looking at it from a male perspective or a female perspective. This is gonna help us all the way around, because a lot of times when men don't talk, there's something that's there. But do we have the capacity as a society to help that male or that female out that don't talk? But today, I want to specifically get into talking from a standpoint of why men don't talk. Just why men don't talk. I'm gonna share with you guys from my perspective, right? For me, a lot of times I talk because I just don't think people understand me. They may not even understand what I'm thinking about or what I'm talking about. Whether that's right or whether that's wrong, I'm just sharing that. Here's another one inside of that. Then a lot of times people be like, oh, well, you should share. Yeah, when you share, yeah, whatever. But what happens when an individual share and they don't understand you, right? How does that make you feel? And then they look at you maybe crazy, right? Or some other kinds of things. So a lot of times when you think about men not sharing, a lot of times that's not coming from a bad perspective. That may be coming from a perspective of protecting themselves, protecting their heart, their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts, their intellect. All of those things they may be protecting. Now, I can hear people also saying, well, you got to share with others so we can begin to help you. And yeah, what if you still don't understand? Or you want to make that individual go into a direction that you want them to go into because you can understand and you can appreciate that. Or you just like, oh, and don't know what to do. Well, none of that's helping. Today, we want to help individuals. Listen, family, I don't know what it is and why God has me going in this direction about dealing with the men. But some of these things, hey, maybe just helping me heal in the area I didn't even know I need healing in. I don't know. But I want you guys to think of it from this perspective, right? when we talk from a male perspective, a lot of times people turn their ears off. Yeah, they turn their ears off. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to hear that. They'll turn their emotions off, their intellect off. They'll just turn it off. And now it just sounds like wah, 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 wah. Well, we have to open ourselves up to understand not just the female side, but also the male side. And I want to talk specifically today in that category. So if you got something to write notes, take notes, write some stuff down, go ahead and do that. I'm going to give you 5 reasons. There's 5 reasons of why. Just 5. I might give you a few more, but I'm going to give you at least 5 today on why men don't talk. Yep. I know some, and I know some ladies are like almost in the speakers. Like, I can't wait to hear this. And I hear some men are like their eyes are open, their hearts are open, their ears are open because they want to understand that for themselves. So let's get into it, family. All right. Shout out to all of my people in NOLA. Shout out to everybody that's getting ready for the Essence Festival coming up this weekend. If you're traveling to New Orleans, be careful, be careful, be careful. Stay in lighted areas. Stay in the lighted areas, not lighted. stay, stay in a light area, all right? Stay in the main thoroughfares and all of that good stuff. Don't try to go down the dark alleys. Talk about, I'm going to go get, don't do that. So shout out to everybody that's coming in. Shout out to Essence that's probably already here, setting up, getting ready, and all of those good things. Everybody's traveling. I wish y'all have an incredible amount of time and fun, incredible amount of time spent down here. Eat as much as you can, enjoy the food and all of that good stuff. So shout out to everybody. All right, let's get into it. I done gave everybody enough time to get something to take some notes with. All right. So why don't men talk? So number one, let's talk about societal expectations and masculinity. Societal expectations and masculinity. Many men are taught, believe it or not, from a very young age that showing emotions, I don't know where to get this from, but showing emotions is a sign of weakness. Y'all heard stuff like this, man up, and they start hitting their chest, I'm trying to put the or they'll say something like, boy, why are you crying? Boys don't cry or men don't cry. And all that's doing is reinforcing the idea that being a man means being tough and stoic, just yeah. And that's really eating us up on the inside. That really is. These societal expectations make it difficult for men to feel comfortable about discussing, believe it or not, their feelings. Because, men know you get into a locker room, I played sports. So you get into a locker room, certain things you talk about is, you don't see people crying. You don't see people doing those things. You just don't. It's like, oh man, you good? Come on, we good. Let's go. Ride or die. Roll up. Man, stop. Stop. Sometimes you have to just let it out, right? One thing that recently happened, some of you guys know, unfortunately, my dad passed away August last year, right? And a lot of people was talking about, oh, it's okay, you're gonna be strong, be strong. Man, listen, I ain't trying to be strong. Be strong for you. Well, I ain't gonna say that all. It's like be strong, be this, be that. No, I'm hurting. I'm pain. This is some deep pain. Y'all talking about be strong. No, my dad and I rode for the last 2 years together. It was just he and I rocking this thing. And you talking about be strong. We went from talking every day to all of a sudden he's not here. Even when he had his stroke, even when he stopped, physically communicating with his mouth. We were still having conversations, eye conversations, hugs, all of those things. And you can see those things, right? And then all of a sudden somebody talk about, oh no, man up, you good. You gonna get through it. Be strong. No, I'm not. No, sir. See, I don't want us to get caught up collectively as men and get caught up into not just societal expectations, but also the masculinity. And then you walking around talking, yeah, but yet at the same time, late at night is eating you up. Late at night, you trying to still be hard and let no. That's going to help you process it. I'm not going to get into the psychological side of it and all that stuff, but I want to make sure we understand that doing that can hurt yourself more than it can help you. All right. So we want to make sure that we don't hide those emotions. Be vulnerable. I know that's a word right there. Vulnerability. I know being vulnerable with somebody and being vulnerable in public or something to that. You don't, oh, because people will take it and do things with it. So I know a lot of times we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to, we want to hide our emotions, but inside is eating you up. So don't allow societal expectations or masculinity to stop you from expressing who you really are. I wonder if more men began to express who they are. I wonder what would happen in society. I wonder what I'm not talking about just, oh, I just want to talk and yap yap. No, no, no. I mean truly express who they really are. I mean, think about that. Just truly express who they really are. Ladies, I'm going to ask you a question on that. You can write it down. Nobody's going to know. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. But I want you guys to think about this um, in a little bit. All right. When you think about this and you look at it and say, if a man expressed himself fully, I mean, truly expressed himself fully to you. This is good. Do you have the capacity to receive the full expression of that male? Do you have the full capacity to receive that male in his total vulnerability? That's a question right there. Now listen, ladies, when you're writing that question down and you're thinking about it and you going in more, don't just answer yay, nay, right? Don't no, put some thought into it. Because sometimes a man really want to be vulnerable with you. They really want to express themselves. But sometimes some women, not all, may give off this air of I don't want to talk, I don't want to hear that, or man up, the same as these societal expressions, expectations. But do you have the capacity? Are you willing? Are you able? Are you confident enough to be able to receive the full weight of his vulnerability when he begins to express to you his deep feelings, his deep emotions, his deep power? Can you truly receive that? Boy, that's a question in and of itself. Right there. As a matter of fact, we can start the podcast and going on about our business. We listen, I know we on One Voice Radio. I know we in 170 plus countries around the world. And it's not just for America. This is not just for Canada or Mexico. This is for everybody that's listening. Ladies, do you have the capacity to receive that man in that place? That's great right there. hmm Now, let me change that question up just a little bit and ask the man. Are you strong enough to be vulnerable with that lady or that woman or your wife or your girlfriend and truly express the depths of who you are and be completely vulnerable with that person? Can you do that? Are you able to do that? Can you really go into that vein? Girl, boy, man, woman, this getting good right here. Not here, but right here. Woo! That in and of itself will help a lot of people, men and women, through this. Answer that question. You can send me an email. You can send an email to the to the podcast or whatever, because right there, that's gonna help a lot of people. I promise you that's gonna help a lot of people. Let's get to number two. This is another good one. Fear of being judged. I, I, oh, I wish we were in person. Y'all could see my facial expression. Matter of fact, go to YouTube, go to YouTube, go to YouTube, and look at my facial expressions because man, I'm telling y'all, this is off the chain. Fear of being judged. A man don't want to talk because he may be judged by society or other people. Another significant reason men don't even talk about their feelings or who they are and all that is being judged. In society, think about this, where men are often expected to be the provider, be the protector, showing emotions. Showing emotions can feel like they're a failure or not meeting expectations and all. Think about this for a second, right? A man don't talk because he don't want to be judged. Why he don't want to be judged? Because society will then talk about you the provider or you the protector, and you supposed to get it done regardless. What happens when a man have a bad day? Huh? What happens then? Can a man come home without being judged? Ladies, men, I don't care if you gay or straight. Can you literally go home to your significant other, bury your head in their chest without the fear of being judged? I'm telling you from somebody that was judged before. Yes, when you're literally talking about being in that space of being judged, that just rips men apart. Fear, because if a job, a business, idea, education, it doesn't go well, that does not mean that man is a failure or that man lacks something because that didn't work out. But what happens is society began to judge them. And so what happens is most men now begin to shut down. I'm not gonna say a word. Let them think I'm just gonna shut down because I don't want to feel like I'm being judged, especially by a significant other, especially by somebody that's supposed to be ride or die. When I say significant other, I'm not just talking about male, female, or if you're gay, your female partner or your male partner. I'm talking about parents. I'm talking about siblings. I'm talking about aunts and uncles. I'm talking about cousins. See, most men don't want to be judged in that manner. No one. As a matter of fact, no one does. The fear of judgment can lead a man to keep their feelings to themselves. They can keep their thoughts to themselves, their ideas to themselves. And what happens is because it didn't work out with that bank does not mean the next bank is not going to approve the loan for the business. It's not meaning you got declined at Harvard or Yale. That does not mean you're not going to go to Princeton or Yale or whatever. That doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean if you don't have quote unquote the so-called grades that people are looking for to get into a school, that does not mean you're a failure or you can't get into school. You might have to do it a different way. But what happens is when you open a letter and I didn't get accepted to X, Y, and Z school. Well, instead of saying, I didn't get accepted, most people are going to hide that. They're not going to be truthful because society has a cruel way of judging you. And it's okay. I don't say it's okay. Let me not say that. Society is going to judge you. But what makes it worse is when the society is in your house. Ding, 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 ding. I just saved the marriage right there. Don't judge that woman or that man. Don't do that, right? You're dating for a reason. Don't judge them because they may have an issue with this or an issue with that. No, can you talk through it? But when they come to you as a man and begin to share listen to me, ladies. The last time they will ever share with you is if you judge them. I promise you. That's it. That's a wrap. That's it. You done lost them. Whether you do it intentionally or you do it with your emotions or your energy or your eye rolls or your actions, guess what? That's what happens. Y'all might as well go on and go to the divorce court, the justice of the peace to get annulled or whatever it may be, because you have lost them from that point on. That's it. Shut it down. Close up shop. You will no longer get that person again. That's it. You're not going to get them. So what we do is, again, it goes back to that question. So let me ask you another question. Can you be in a relationship? Now, this is not boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, husband, wife. I'm just saying a relationship, period, without judging. Can you be in a relationship without judging? Can you be in a relationship without judging? Do you have the capacity to be in a relationship without judging? From a male to come to you, a man to come to you and express something. Man, I just thought about something. Let me ask you, yeah, this is about to get tight right here. I might have to do a part two on this one. This is gonna get tight and right, but it's gonna be good, I promise you. I want to go down a subject that people don't really like to talk about. I talk about some stuff or medical conditions men may have. A lot of times people talk about ED, erectile dysfunction, right? And they'll talk about just different things that happen to their body, whether it's from a surgery or some type of medical condition, or it just happened over time. Here's the question: why so many people now begin to look at you a certain way and begin to judge you? I'm just asking for a friend, right? Think about that. People begin to then they start looking up, turning their head, turning their neck. In research, I realized that a lot of things are being judged because collectively we will think if we're the one that's judging, we're basically looking down on that person and saying we're better than you. I don't struggle with that. I'm better than you. I don't struggle with eating eggs. I'm better than you, right? But you struggle with shopping. You struggle with hiding things from your significant other. You struggle with lying. You struggle with being seen. So you have other issues, but when that man have that one issue or two issues or whatever it may be, now you're looking down on him. Which brings me to number three. Which brings me to number three. Number three is shame and guilt. So in that erectile dysfunction example I just gave, now all of a sudden he don't want to express himself because for whatever reason the bat is not batting right now, right? Well, when he comes to you as the significant other and share that, do you realize, ladies and gentlemen, that there are a lot of people that turn their noses up, look at them crazy, turn all upside down, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, like he intentionally went out and be like, yes, all of a sudden I'm not gonna take the bat out the dugout. What? Who said that? It happened with what is his medical condition? It happened just was he's getting older, whatever it may be. But what happens is he begins to open up to express himself to that significant other, and they begin to shame him. Or they'll guilt him. They'll say something like, well, if you didn't eat all of them sweets, if you didn't eat all of that sugar, or you didn't eat all of that salt, you wouldn't be in this condition. If you didn't gain all of that weight, you wouldn't be in it. Now all of a sudden you're guilting the person. So why in God's green earth would that individual, in this case, that man, open up to you and express to you why I'm in this situation? That's not healthy for no one. Not near nobody. Knowing good well if he shames you, now all of a sudden everything go away. But now you not only shame him, you make him feel guilty. You walk around with this air, all of that stuff. What? Mm-mm. No, we can't do that. But these are just some of the reasons of why men don't express themselves. These are some of the reasons why men don't talk, right? A lot of men can talk and say a lot without saying nothing, right? Just nothing. Matter of fact, we talk about talking. Here's another one. Number four, lack of emotional vocabulary. Now, all of those ones we said at the beginning, right? Societal expectations and masculinity. That's one. We went through that. That's a reason. And then you got fear of being judged, and then you got shame and guilt. You go through all that, but then you go into something that, because a lot of men were not taught on this side or at this level, we lack we lack emotional vocabulary. We don't even know how to say we're hurting. We don't even know how to express, this is how I'm feeling today. Because listen, I can text something to my best friend or my sister and say, hey, this is where I'm at. What that, and I'm talking about, these my riders, right? These my ride or die. They in my will. These my ones. And do you realize I can text? I will text them and not call them sometime because I still feel embarrassed. I still feel a bit of fear for being judged or being shamed or guilted. The masculinity comes out, and you shouldn't be feel. All of that stuff is stuff that have penetrated me since I have been a young child. Now I need the emotional vocabulary, and I need to feel in a position of vulnerability to begin to share with them. Right now, I want to share with them, but guess what? I don't even have the vocabulary to even share that with them. So here's another question. Boy, I ain't write these questions down. They just coming off the top of the dome. When a man comes to you, do you have the softness to receive him, the capacity in your softness to receive him and allow him to express and talk through, walk through, even having a lack of emotional vocabulary to begin to express themselves so you guys can work through whatever that situation is? Oh, without the right words, it can be difficult to communicate what's really going on inside. If you don't have the right words, it's really difficult to express what's going on inside. You can't even communicate it. Now, what happens is that's going to lead to frustration. It's going to create tendencies again for them to withdraw. I'm talking about men. As a matter of fact, there are sometimes I will pick up my phone and I really want to express something to my, I'm talking my riders, the ones that know all the dirt, all of the secrets, all of the Stanley, right? And you want to express that to my boy or my girl, and you want to share that, but then all of a sudden I put the phone down. They're like, nope, I ain't gonna share that. Mm-mm. I gotta build up the courage. I gotta build up the energy. I gotta build up the love to get to that part so I can then begin to share it. And then when I text it, listen to this, because it's not a phone call. Sometimes I haven't built that muscle to make that phone call. Yeah. And then when I hit send, you hit that send and like you turn your head like, oh, somebody can see you, right? You just hurry up and hit send, and then you be on pins and needles, and you're shaking, and you're doing all of those things. But it's because you don't have the emotional vocabulary to really express what really is going on inside of you. You can't even communicate properly. And now, how can you help that individual heal? How can you help that individual go to the next level? Because some people, even though they want that person to heal, they want that person to be loved. But when they get to that point, then people turn around like, I don't know about you. I don't know about that. I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I can put up with that, the next 20, 30, 50, 70 years. I don't think you go through all of those things. And what happens is now all of a sudden, guess what he does? Goes back inside. Because now it's like, see, I wanted to try, when I got mocked. I got shamed. I feel like I'm being judged. She went and told her friends, her family, her sorority sisters, her church members, all of those things, and went and told everybody. So now I'm being looked at upon by other people as well. So now the societal expectations is now man up and all. No, I don't even have the vocabulary to express to you the pain that I'm in. Listen, I'm telling y'all from experience. When Dad closed his eyes, there's nothing I could say. Some days, if somebody be like, "How you doing?" I don't know. I have absolutely no idea of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and how I'm even making out. So don't do that. What are you doing? How do you? uh, it brings pain there, not pain of I'm hurting, but pain because there's so many men that are absolutely hurting. Now, pause. Some people out there are screaming, yeah, but what about these no good, low down fools? I ain't talking about them. I ain't talking about them 2%. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about all those, right? So if you're not talking about that 2% or that 1%, no, we ain't talking about that. And I don't this just popped up into my head. Do you guys realize if you do a study on this? Because see, ding, 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 get ready for this one. Ding, 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 get ready for this one. When you do a study and a research, it statistically states that the black man is in their child's life more than any other ethnicity. Period. Go run tell that. Go run tell that. Go do your research. It statistically states that more black males, African American, however you want to articulate it, are in their child's life more than any other race in the world. Now, let's stop there. Why do I say that? Because a lot of times, as a black male, they want to put us into a certain light. They want to say a certain thing. He ain't worth nothing. He this and he that. But that's absolutely not true. Just because he broke up, just because the marriage went awry, or y'all no longer dating, but y'all still have a baby, most African Americans are right there with their child. Yeah, they got some people that are just, nah, we good. I'm not talking about them fools. I'm not. But then if you go into it deeper, ladies, you better stop holding the kids up for ransom so you can get more money, or you can play with that gentleman's emotions, because that goes right into some of those things: feeling shame, feeling guilt, being judged. Oh, you're not making the money you supposed. All of that. Stop. It's making him go in. Just because the relationship didn't work, that has nothing to do with that beautiful baby. Nothing at all. Get it together. So again, when a male, I don't know how I got into that, but anyway, y'all got it now. So remember, lack of emotional vocabulary. Do you have the capacity to help him speak through the rough patches of trying to communicate and express himself? Do you have that patience? Are you patient enough to hear that? Number 5, last one I'm gonna do today. Might be forever, but last one at least for today. Fear of being vulnerable. Oh, vulnerability is a two-edged sword. On one hand, it's essential for building a deep and meaningful connection with others. That's absolutely true. I mean, you being vulnerable, you sharing all of those things. You being pure, you being nurturing, all of that stuff on that side. But on the other hand, it expresses, it requires you to express part of yourself that you might prefer to keep hidden. Ding, 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 ding. Let me just share that with y'all again. So on one hand, it's essential because you want to build deep and meaningful relationships and connections with other people. I know that's right. Yep, all of us do. Matter of fact, relationship is a part of wealth, not rich, wealth. Yep, yep. That's one of the pillars of wealth is relationship. I ain't gonna talk about that today, but that's one of the pillars. Having wealth of relationship. So, in one hand, it's essential. You want to build that deep and meaningful connection with others, the relationships. On the other hand, this let's get into it. On the other hand, it requires you. It requires you. Let me say that again. It requires you. Where's my bell? Ding, ding, ding. It requires you to listen to this, to expose, to open, expose, to open up, to show, to let in, to be on the inside. It exposes part of yourself that you might prefer to keep hidden. There are things that will, boy, there are things that'll make you buckle. I'm telling you, it'll make you buckle. I'm 51 years old, and there are some things that, boy, you talk about being vulnerable. There's no way in the world I want to be vulnerable with that, right? Because it creates something, it makes you go into a place because then all kind of things pop up. Boy, I got my heart out here. I didn't let my people in. They see everything. Because why? You are fearing they're going to shame you or put you in the guilt. They're going to be judging you and looking at you on down on their noses. They're going to give you all of these societal expectations and masculinity. Let me give you one. Let me give you one. You talk about fear of vulnerability. From a man perspective, everybody know men are out there busting their butt. Most men, I ain't gonna say all of them because some of them just trash. But most men are out there being working hard. I mean, good. But what happens? This is so good. What happens when that man can't find a job? What happens when the man get released from his job? No fault of his own, but get released. A lot of men internalize that and they start thinking, what did I do? What could have I done to do this, that, thus? What could I have done to hold it in? What could I have done to be in a position to be better? I just don't even know. See, I don't know what it is. Why? What? And they're going into all of that stuff. And then they got to come home and face the significant other. And then they gotta, you gotta go get a shot and you gotta be drinking. Now, some people just go out and just say, look, I got fired today, or I got let go today, and go into this ramp. And then others be like, ooh, that's a vulnerability that a lot of people don't want to talk about because after the house and you finally got over that hump, and let's say you out and be like, oh, well, don't worry about it, baby. We doing good at work and da da da. And then now you go out among friends and they start asking you about your job. Can you be vulnerable in that moment and tell your friends, tell your significant other, tell your BFF, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad, I was let go. Because as a man, sometimes the shame hits you. And it was no fault of their own, but the shame hits you. Now you're like, oh, what I'm gonna do now? And all of that stuff comes up because of societal norms, being judged, fear, masculinity, shame, guilt. Don't even know how to emotionally share with you. Just have no idea of what's going on and how that's working. So, as I close out this podcast, I'm telling you guys that this is one of the most powerful ones I've done in a long time. Why men don't talk. Listen, get your family, your friends, your boys, your girls, your dudes, your dudettes, and everybody else that you possibly can get. Log in, call them, go back and listen to it again because these are some seeds or some nuggets or some power that we were able to share with you. Listen, I have 5 more I have 5 more reasons of why men don't talk. Listen to this: personal stress, emotionally overwhelmed, fear of conflict, external pressures, relationship insecure. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna do part two. I done made it up. Do part two next week, family, because we got to get into this. We have to get into this because this in and of itself is so powerful and it's going to help heal a lot of men. Because right now, what's going on in the world, we all need some kind of healing, right? We need to pray, we need healing, but this is going to help, especially in our relationships. So listen, boys and girls, do's and dudettes, go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. Send me a message, send me an email, send something to the podcast. But here's why I'm saying that and sharing it with you. And make sure you have other people go back and listen to this podcast. Let's talk with StanleyDoucette.com. You will see it, it'll pop up there. Give us about an hour and it should be on the system already. Pop up, go listen to it again. Share it with some people. Go to YouTube, go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. That's LET''S. Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Go there. Look, if you want to look at me on video and see how crazy my faces look, do that too. Regardless, but this is important for so many men. Whether it's ladies, whether it's men, helping them understand they're not crazy, they're not alone. Come on back and do it. Come on back. Let's get it. Let's get this. We are our own self-preservation. I believe in humanity. I believe in society as a whole. I believe we are better than what we have been shown. I love y'all for real, and there's nothing y'all can do about it. So listen, get back with your boy. Come on back next week. We're gonna do part two of Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. It is simply stating why men don't talk. We gonna get this in. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. For those that's traveling, safe travel for the holidays. That's in America. Safe travel, safe travel, safe travel. Other than that, if you're going to the beach, enjoy the beach for me. And I love you guys. And I'll see you guys on the beaches of the world. Don't forget, come back next week, and we're going to conclude this on what is it on? I was on Let's Talk. We're going to conclude the part of why men don't talk. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. See y'all next week. We out. Peace.